Are y'all okay if I go ahead and flip?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So topic number 3, solving inequalities. All right, so while y'all are writing that, I do want to ask y'all a couple questions to lead this off. Do you guys know what an inequality is?
Yes.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay, so inequalities, if you look at this word, inside the word inequalities is the word unequal. So basically an inequality is a math sentence that compares two expressions. So they're not going to be equal. We're going to be comparing the two sides. So I do want us to write that down first because it's one of your vocab words. Then tomorrow we have even shorter notes. So tomorrow in the notes video, I'll finish going over the vocab on the list, okay? Have y'all started your cards yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Look at y'all. They said, Miss Poole, what do you take us for? So remember, those are due Friday at 11:59. If you haven't started, a good day to work on them would be Thursday because that's just a practice day. There won't be any teaching. You guys will just be practicing. So an inequality is a math sentence that compares two expressions. So instead of the two sides being equal in the sentence, they're not equal. We're comparing them. So do you guys remember the 4 inequality symbols?
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
Equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and what was the fourth one?
2 more, not equal to, because it should be unequal. So you said, I like what you said. Hang on, let's do. She said less than or equal to. And then you said greater than or equal to, right, Gwyneth?
Yes.
Okay. Greater than or equal to. And then do they have to be equal to? You children.
No.
No, good. So the other 2 are just less than, or what's the fourth one? Oh, Lord, y'all.
Equal to.
Not equal to.
Greater than.
Somebody said it.
Greater than.
Greater than. Good job. So does everybody agree these 4 inequality symbols, we'll write the symbol in a second, but they're comparing. We're saying one side is less than or equal to the other. One side is greater than or equal to the other. One side is less than or one side is greater than. They're not equal, they're comparing. All right, so we need to talk about which way the symbols point. So remember, your inequality symbols are like sideways V's, right?
Yes.
Middle school, your teacher might have done the Pac-Man analogy where Pac-Man will eat like the bigger side, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, my teacher did that, but she was also very corny, but it helped me to remember it. So less than will always point to the second side, like open up to the second side. So less than or equal to is going to open up to the second side, and it has a bar underneath it because it's equal. So then greater than or equal to is going to point to the, which side?
Right side?
Yeah, it points to the right, it opens up to the left. So it opens up to the first side of the sentence. But good, the point is on the right. Yep. And then less than opens up to the second side. Greater than opens up to the first side. So we've seen these, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So I'm hoping in middle school you guys solved inequalities. I don't think you went as in depth as we're going to go. And then you guys also, I think, graphed them in 7th grade. But I know it's been a while, so we're going to do both of those things today. All right, so the next part of the notes. When solving inequalities, we use the same steps as equations. But there's going to be one new rule. All right, so I want to see who remembers this. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, did you guys learn what you have to do in middle school? Do y'all not know, or are we still writing? Or both?
I'm still writing.
Okay.
We're still writing.
Okay, sorry. Y'all gotta slow me down now that we're virtual, because I don't have anybody to watch. So I have no idea when we're done or not. So when solving inequalities, we use the same steps or process as solving an equation, but there's going to be one new rule. So one thing is different. And then without telling y'all the rule right off the bat, we'll do an example together. That way you guys can see the rule. So leave yourself some space because we're going to finish that new rule right there. But I want you guys to see what the rule is, and we'll come up with it together in this example, because hopefully you'll see what has to happen. All right, are y'all ready to do this example?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the very first thing you should do anytime you're solving any kind of math sentence? Equation, inequality, either. What's the very first thing? It's something that I asked y'all to do.
Draw
The
a wall.
wall.
There we go. My girl's getting extra credit. Good job, you three. Draw your wall. What's the second thing I told you guys to do that'll make it a lot easier?
Put a finger over the variable.
Good. Cover the variable and whatever's touching it. So that would be the -2, right? -2x, I'm going to cover it. So what do we need to move? What's on the same side as my finger, but it's not covered? The 3. That's what we've got to move. So if it's a +3, how do I move it? How do I get rid of it?
Subtract it.
Subtract it. Very good. We're going to do the opposite. Is everybody okay with that? Most of you did pretty good on your work that are up here. Actually, all of you that are up here did great on your work from yesterday. So I'm going to subtract the 3. So what would be left? What am I left with? Curtis, you said you were going to talk to me.
16.
Oh, good. 16. He said, I'm here. Good job, baby. 16, what's left on the left side?
Negative 2x.
Negative 2x.
Good job, y'all. So now, how do we get x by itself?
We divide
Divide by what?
the 2
The
and negative 2.
-2. Good job, Kiara. Good. Look at y'all getting extra credit. So the -2 is touching the x. Remember, that means they're multiplying. So we got to divide by -2 on both sides, right, Kiara?
Yes.
Okay, so I want y'all to watch what happens, because this is where our new rule is going to come in. We're ready? We had a -2. When you do a negative divided by a negative, what happens to the answer?
It's gonna turn. And it's gonna turn greater than.
It's gonna, okay, hang on. We're talking about the 2. If you have a
Oh.
negative, you're okay. You're just getting ahead of me. If I have a negative and I divide it by a negative, the answer is gonna be
Positive.
positive. So the sign turned positive. The sign switched. Look at the right-hand side. I had a positive 16. I'm dividing by a -2. What happens here? What does the answer turn to if it was positive?
Negative.
It turns negative. So listen to me. An inequality is different from an equation, because if you divide or multiply by negative, all of the signs are going to switch. So this one was negative, it switched to positive. This one was positive, it switched to negative. If this is less than or equal to, it has to
Change.
switch to greater than or equal to. Did you guys learn that in middle school?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot about it though.
That's okay. So a lot of kids always tell me, they're like, we learned it, but they never showed us why. This is why. Anytime you divide by a negative, this sign will change. It'll be the opposite of what it was. It's now positive. Negative divided by negative changes positive. Positive divided by negative, that changes negative. So if both of these signs are flipping, you have to flip the one in the middle too, because whatever we do on one side carries through the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so look, your sign flips. So if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you flip all signs. That is the new part that I need you to remember today. That's the big thing. So I'm gonna highlight it, make sure we're all on the same page. That is it for notes. Now do not leave. I'm not done. We're going to do examples, but that's the only new thing. So all of our solving steps are same. I did have a couple people ask me if I could write down the solving steps as a review. So let's write them down. What's the very first thing you should draw?
Your wall.
Good. Draw your wall. Love it. Draw your wall. That kind of rhymes. Curtis, I could rap again for you. Amaya's like, please don't. What's the second thing? What do you do after you draw your wall? What did I just do?
Cover.
There we go. Cover your what, Curtis?
The one that has the variable
Good. Very good. Cover your variable. So why don't I say variable term? Whatever the variable's with, you cover that, right? And then the third one, after we cover it, we're going to use what we call inverse operations. That's a vocab word. So I'm going to make sure I put it in your notes so you've heard it before. Inverse operations, that just means opposite operations to move terms so we can get the variable by itself, right? and I'm going to use another vocab word, to isolate the variable. Like I said, we'll go over this vocab tomorrow. But you're going to use inverse operations, which means opposite operations. So we did that here. Step 1, draw the wall. Step 2, cover the X term. Step 3, we did the opposite operation. We subtracted 3 on both sides. And then we did the opposite here. Instead of multiplying by -2, we divided it so that we could get our variable by itself. That's what isolate means. If you put something in isolation, it's by itself. Are you guys ready to do a couple more examples?
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll be good to go. Like I said, it's really only one new thing today. And then tomorrow I'll add on one more new thing. All right. This is going to be example 2. Let's do, I feel like y'all only need like 3 more and we'll be okay. I'm going to do this one. -9 minus 5x greater than or equal to 6. All right, y'all, what's my very first step?
Draw the wall.
Draw the wall. Very good. So I'm going to draw my wall. What's step 2?
Cover the
your
variable.
Good. Cover up the variable. So that would be the -5x, right?
Yes.
I'm going to cover it. We want to move whatever's on the same side as our finger because we're trying to get this -5x by itself. So how do I get rid of or move the -9?
Subtract.
Be careful. It's already negative.
Add.
Good. Very good. Both of you. Good job. Extra credit. Add 9. And what you do to one side, we have to do to the other. Don't make me draw a little flying kid on your paper. Add 9 to the other side. So I want you guys to tell me what I would be left with. What would my sentence say from left to right?
-5x.
Hmm?
Greater than or equal to.
Good. Anybody? 6 plus 9?
15.
There we go, 15. Good job. So now, is everybody okay with that step?
Yes.
All right, so now how do we get our x by itself? How do we isolate that x? We got to do the opposite with this -5. So what are we going to do?
Divide.
Divide it because they're touching. Good, Gwyneth. So we're going to divide it. Divide by -5. What you do to one side, you got to do to the
Other.
good. Now, let's think about it. What kind of number did I just divide by?
A negative.
A negative. If you divide by a negative, one more time, watch what's going to happen. This was negative, but when I divide by a negative, it's going to change it to a positive x, right? I had +15. If you take a +15 and divide a -5, what am I going to end up with?
-3.
-3. Good. Who was that? So I can give you your extra credit. Was that my Kiera?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I thought so. I just got to make sure so I can give the extra credit to the right person. -3. So both of these signs changed from what they were in pink. So what do I got to do with my middle one?
Less than or equal to.
And you,
Good. You also have to change it. You got to flip it. Does anybody have questions about that one?
No.
Okay, so I do want to add on something because you're going to have to do this on your Delta Math homework. So what I want to add on is this. There's a couple of problems that ask you to solve the inequality. and then they ask you to graph it on a number line, okay? So for this one, if we tried to graph this on a number line, it says x is less than or equal to -3. So we would find -3 on the number line. I do want y'all to draw this with me so you can look back in your notes and use it on the test or a quiz. And then what number comes next that is smaller than -3 on the left?
-2.
Okay, be careful. You're right. That's what's on the right.
-2.
No, you're right. -2 is on the right. Remember, a number line, the smaller numbers are on the left and they get bigger as they go. So what's on this side of -3?
-4.
There we go. Good. So remember, with a number line, the smaller numbers are on the left, the bigger numbers are on the right. Remember, with your negative numbers, when the number itself looks bigger and you put a negative in front of it, that actually means it's getting smaller. Y'all learned that in middle school, right?
Yes.
Because it's
Yes.
farther away from 0. 0 would be all the way over here somewhere, and that's 4 to the left of 0. So that's actually farther away. It's smaller than 3. So this would be my number line. Now, which way do I want to draw the arrow if I'm saying I want all the numbers that are less than or equal to 3? Where are the less than numbers going to be? This is tricky. Y'all might not have learned this because y'all went virtual last year.
To the left.
Good. So if it's less than, look at the point on the less than symbol. It's pointing, the vertex is on the left, right? So I want all the numbers to the left of -3. And then there's one more thing that you have to remember. And I'm going to have to close these blinds in a second because I'm like getting blinded. And I don't even know if y'all can see the screen. I cannot. There's one more thing we got to talk about. I want all the numbers less than -3, but I also want equal to -3, right? Do y'all see that bar underneath?
Yes.
Okay, so remember, if it's less than or equal to, you can also include the -3, so you should put a point on it. So I'm gonna let y'all copy that.
Yes.
Okay.
The page are open circles.
Yeah. Ooh, who was that? Who just said that?
Gwyneth.
Good job. Yep. So if it doesn't have the equal underneath it, you use an open circle. We'll do an example like that in a second, okay? Are there any questions for me on example 2?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more because I want to end by 2:25 since that's what I told y'all. So let's do 2 more. Sample 3, and then you guys, all you'll have to do is your assignment for today. I would definitely spread the word, tell your friends, because we're missing a whole lot of people up here. The best way to learn, since we're all virtual, is going to be joining the live Zoom, because then you shouldn't have any questions because you would have asked them already. And you've already done your notes too, so there's no video to watch. You can just go ahead and do your homework. So definitely tell your friends to join. I'm gonna make it a little harder. I feel like we're ready for that. Greater than 2. All right. So 12 plus 4x all over 4 is greater than 2. All right, y'all, what's my first step?
Draw the seesaw.
On the wall. You're going to be happy tomorrow that I made you draw a wall because they're going to get a little crazy tomorrow. Draw your wall. What do we do next? What's step 2?
Cover the variable.
Cover the variable. This is the one that you guys will get stumped on. There was one just like this on the EOC a couple years ago. Okay. And I think in the fall, actually. I'm not supposed to tell y'all that though. So where is the X located? What all is with the X?
The 12 and the 4.
Good. So look, everybody listen. The X is in the top of the division bar, right? So when you go to cover for now, we've got to cover the whole top, which means what do we need to move first?
The 4.
Good. How do we move that 4 if it's dividing? What's the opposite of dividing?
Multiply.
Good. So does everybody agree with Kiera? We need to multiply by 4?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what you do to one side, we got to do to the
Other.
other. Good. Now, when you were dividing by 4 right here and you multiplied it, those are going to cancel because they're opposites. That's how we moved it. So there's no 4 in the bottom. And y'all listen to me. It's not 16 in the bottom either. They cancel because they're opposites. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Here I have about a couple of kids and they'll put 16 in the bottom. I'm like, why did you do that? They cancel. If you're dividing by 4 and then you go and multiply it, it's going to cancel out. So now I've got, what am I left with? I've got 12 plus 4x is greater than, what's 2 times 4?
8.
8, good. All right, so now if I cover my x, I need to cover the 4 with it. What do I move next?
The 8.
The 12.
12.
Good, whatever's on the same side of your finger, the 12. And how am I going to move that 12?
You subtract.
Subtract it, very good, because it's positive, right? I'll subtract that, and what you do to one side, we got to do to the other. So does everybody agree? And if I'm going too fast, y'all let me know. But does everybody agree we're left with 4x is greater than, and I need to do this math. Have y'all done this already?
It should be -4.
Oh, good. Who was that? Was that Amaya?
Mm-mm.
Curtis, you said I thought it was her. Are you messing with me?
Yeah.
Don't mess with me over Zoom. I can't see people. Amaya, get your friend. So it is -4. Good job, Ed. So everybody remember, a +8 and -12, they're different signs. If they're different, you actually subtract, right? So if you do 12, take away 8, you're going to get 4. And then you keep this sign of whichever one was bigger. There's more negatives because 12 is bigger than 8. So it's going to be a -4. Very good job, Amaya. Extra credit. All right, now what do I do? What's the last thing I do to get x by itself?
Divide by 4.
Divide by the 4. Good job. Curtis, I'm going to get you for messing with me. Do y'all agree it's -1?
Yes.
Now listen, this 4 was negative, but am I dividing by a negative?
No.
No, so you do not flip that sign. Don't get crazy and start flipping the sign whenever the heck you want to. That is not what I told you. Flip the sign when you multiply or divide by negative. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, y'all tell me how this graph would look. How would I graph this? What 3 numbers would I use if I put it on a number line? Right. -1, obviously, right? Because it says -1. So then what would be on the left and the right? What 2 numbers?
-2.
There we go, Kiera. Good job, Ed. -2. What would be on the right?
+2.
Now +2. What comes after -1?
Oh, 0.
Good. Good job, Ed. All right, it's x is greater than -1. So all the numbers that are bigger than -1 are going to be on the,
Open circle.
oh, it is open, good. But which way should my arrow point?
Right.
To the right. The numbers that are bigger. So look where that little point is. The dot would be on the right. So it's going to go to the right. So it is open. And I need y'all to understand why it's open. You can also do it like this, and you can color on yours if you want. I'm fine with you doing it either way. But it's open because this doesn't say greater than or equal to. It says it has to be bigger than -1. So can the answer be -1?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it can.
No.
Make
no.
one bigger than -1.
Wait, no.
No. So look, if it's greater, it can't be whatever the number is. It's got to be everything bigger than that. So that's why we do an open circle, because it's not allowed to be -1. It can only equal if you've got that line underneath it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, can we try one more?
Yep.
And then if y'all want, we can kind of look at a couple off of the homework together. If y'all want, that's up to you. I'll let you leave if you don't want to do that. But I am going to stay on and do that for the people that want it. So example 4. Let's do, I'm going to step it up one more notch if that's okay with you guys. I feel like y'all are ready for it. What you think, Curtis? Yeah?
I guess.
All right, y'all heard him. He's ready. He said, I guess. You knew I was going to do it either way, didn't you?
Yeah.
3x. This one's kind of challenging. We're going to make them even longer tomorrow. But the more terms I add, I just need y'all to remember the steps that I've taught you. Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. What do I do first?
Draw a wall.
Good. Nothing new. Draw your wall over your symbol. So that's going to go right there. Okay. What do I do next?
The parentheses.
Okay, good. So hang on. I do want to talk about it. Normally we would try to cover the X, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Okay, good. Right. Normally you would try to cover the variable. We can't do that because do y'all see these pesky parentheses up in here?
Yep.
You gotta get rid of the parentheses first, and then you'll be able to cover the X, okay? So how do I get rid of these parentheses? Let's talk about it. You can't do 3x minus 5. Can somebody tell me why?
Because it has the exponent in it. I mean, variable.
Good, very good. Good vocab. 3x has an X. Does 5 have an X?
No.
No. So what I always tell my students is think about when y'all were little, did y'all go to the zoo at all? Did anybody go to a zoo?
Yes.
Yes.
Curtis, you should have, being from Virginia, right?
Yeah.
They got so many zoos up there. We used to go to the zoo every summer. I don't know why. They have so many up there. Think about when you go to the zoo. Do they put the zebras with the lions?
No.
Why not?
No.
Because the lions would eat the zebras.
Exactly. The lions would eat the zebras. It's not going to work because they're not the same animal. Same thing with variables in math. If they're not the same, you can't put them together because it's not going to work out. Okay. So we can't do 3x minus 5. Does anybody remember from middle school what we do to get rid of these parentheses right here?
There's 2 times 3x and then 2 times 5.
Good. Okay. She said you got to multiply both of them by 2. So I'm hoping if I draw it, y'all will remember the word for this. what's that called when you take the 2 into both of them? Starts with a D.
Distribute.
Good, Jasmine. Good job, babe. Distribute. So if you take that 2 in and you multiply it to both of them, that's called distributing. And then you can get rid of the parentheses. So what's 2 times 3x?
6x.
X.
6x. Good. 2 times 3 is 6, and you bring down the x. Now, y'all, what's 2 times a negative 5?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. Now, I got to bring down this plus 3, right? And then I got to bring down my 15 and my symbol, which was a less than. Now, can we cover the x?
Yes.
Yes. So is everybody okay if I cover the x and the 6 is touching it? So are y'all good if I do that?
Yes.
All right. So what do we need to move?
The 3.
The 3 and
The 10.
both of them. Does everybody see that? There's 2 numbers over here that I've got to get rid of to get this 6x by itself. So instead of moving them twice, what would be easier to do?
Subtract the 3 from the 10 first.
Okay, good. Did everybody hear her? Negative
Yes.
10 plus 3, you can do that. She said subtract them because the signs are different. So if I do negative 10 plus 3, what should I get? Because they're both numbers. You can go ahead and put those together. What's negative 10 plus 3?
Negative 7.
Good. Negative 7. Remember, you subtract them. 10 minus 3 is 7, and 10 is bigger. So it should be a negative 7. Now, how do you move a negative 7? Oh, I'm sad.
You subtract.
Not subtract. It's already negative.
Um,
No, you're right there. What's the opposite?
add.
There you go. Good. Add the 7. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other. That was a lot. Are you guys okay with those steps? Because that was a lot. If they put in parentheses, you got to get rid of them first. Are y'all okay?
Yes.
Okay, from here it should be easy. It's the same thing we've been doing. What's 15 plus 7?
22.
22, good. 22 is less than, and I'm going to bring down my 6x. And then how do I get x by itself?
Divide. No.
Good. Divide by what?
6.
Divide the 6 to both sides. All right. I gave you a tricky one, Amaya. She's probably at home like, dang. I know you, girl. You're like, oh, this is too much. All right, 22. Is 22 divisible by 6? Can I do 22 divided by 6 and get a whole number?
No.
No.
No. So all I want y'all to do, I don't want you to grab a calculator and do the division. Because if you have a problem like this on your EOC, it's going to be on the non-calculator, okay? All I want y'all to do is see if we can reduce this. So look at 22 and look at 6. Is there a number that will go into both of those?
2.
Good, 2. So look, what that means, we can divide them both by 2, and that should simplify the fraction for us. So what is 22 divided by 2?
11.
11.
11. What is 6 divided by 2?
3.
So what we're getting is this inequality. 11 over 3, or 11 thirds, 11 divided by 3, is less than x. So you know I have to make y'all think. That's my job. Is this the same thing?